flow and everything was cool and it was like ignorance is bliss. But then life happened to you, and then you got into therapy, and then you start having some self-awareness, and then all of a sudden when you started dating again, it became harder than what it had to be. Well, if you're struggling in that area, we're going to discuss that and so much more in this segment of It's Scary to Remarry. Today's guest is a returning guest. It's been a while. It's been a while, Brave Hearts community, but he's back. One of my favorites. Today's guest is an author and certified coach consultant with a focus on self awareness without judgment. I met him, well, not met in person, but some years ago on Celeste, the therapist. And so shout out to her. And that's how we connected. So, Brave Hearts community, let's show some love to Jermaine Morris. How you doing, sir?
Hey, thank you, man. Happy New Year to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Same to you, man. Same to you.
Yeah.
This topic, man, I think is so important. And when we talk about dating and having a certain level of self awareness, because therapy is a big thing now, which I'm happy for. But at the same time, I want to jump into this topic, and so I want to jump straight into these questions. And why does personal growth make dating feel harder?
Personal growth can make dating feel harder because boundaries can seem and feel restrictive.
Mm,
So when you're just kind of moving and reacting, it's kind of everything is wide open. But once you kind of establish what you will and or will not tolerate anymore, the type of interactions you know you do or do not want to have, the type of environment you do or do not want to place yourself into, um, that funnel starts to get a little skinnier.
hmm
So instead of just, come one, come all, there starts to become requirements, stipulations, conditions. All of a sudden there's a cover charge to get in.
no
And
longer free.
so that can make dating feel a little harder because things that we used to let slide and we figured we crossed that bridge when we came to it with maybe potential, quote unquote red flags, whatever. Now we're stopping folks at the door. And so it's like, man, the club was packed last week. Now I got 3, 4 people in here two stepping. So the more we grow, the more we develop, it can feel like that it's getting harder.
Mm, yeah, that's good, man. Because I mean, sometimes and that whole ignorance is bliss thing, man. It is so real. It's just like when you were 19 and 20, it was all good. You know,
Yeah.
but
Also, when we're younger too, we don't have points of reference. So everything is for the first time. You know,
mm,
you don't know you're being swindled till you've been had. So we have a lot more optimism. We have a lot more patience. Um, and depending upon what happens in those early relationships, like how they go, dictates, if I ever want to be in this position again. So if something happens and it's, that there's always the joke about men, like all it takes is for us to get our heart broken once, and good luck to everybody we meet after that. So sometimes the more that we live and the more we experience, and especially when we start a healing journey, that can we start moving dramatically differently.
yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Because I remember, and no shade to my exes, and I've said this before, but and I had a certain awareness. I was just like, and then I started to get some confidence. I was like, boy, what was you doing? Thinking to myself, praise the Lord for growth.
Good times, good times.
I know, right? So, how does self awareness change who we're attracted to?
So once again, so the more that we learn about ourselves and those boundaries that start to show up, um, it changes because, like I said, sometimes we're moving off the negative effect. We know what happens when we get involved with people who are moved this particular way,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so we're like, okay, I'm not, yeah, it's all the bells and whistles, but I know what comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have a tendency to see a pattern of behavior. And so sometimes we just break the pattern. So it's like you continue, I've been attracted to this type of person, and I've seen how this movie ends two, three, four, five times in a row.
Yeah.
So let me just deviate for the sake of deviating. So sometimes we make a conscious decision to go a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes the more we learn about ourselves, we learn like, okay, this is where I need to be. So kind of examples, so everything's not just, in space,
Mm-hmm.
is that if we're the type of person that needs to communicate things through, we learn that about ourselves. We're not somebody who can just let it go. Like we got to talk this out.
Yeah.
And we have a tendency to meet people who do not communicate in that style or communicate that they don't. So sometimes the person doesn't want to talk about it right now, but they can articulate, hey, I'm not, we're just going to table this from right now. I'm not dismissing this, but I need about 2 hours to sit with this so I can, collect my thoughts. We can revisit this and talk when I'm a little more calm, or it's, they can communicate, they can articulate what's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
we start seeing that, okay, this is the type of person I like, that because I know me. So
Mm-hmm.
we start seeing traits in people when we learn more about ourselves, that this is the type of person I need to be around. So when we start seeing that in other people, that can become more of an attractive trait where maybe it wasn't before.
Mm, yeah. And so, do you think? And this is not in my notes because I was listening to you talking. I was like, man, do you think when you talk about breaking patterns, how do
Mhm.
you feel about types? You know, people will be like, "This is my type," but it seems like not to end in marital bliss or whatever. Like, do you just have to deviate from your type?
So I think so. We're for qualifying what we call a type. So if you like a particular aesthetic
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
type,
Yeah, yeah,
you can find a bunch of different. The chassis may all look the same, but the wiring can be completely different.
yeah.
So if you like a particular, you like particular measurements,
Mm-hmm.
hair length, hair color, height, weight, like you can find that type with a lot of different wiring. But if the hang up is the wiring is the type, I like this temperament, this demeanor, this intelligence level, this degree of communication. Like if that's the type we're talking about,
Yeah.
um, that type can change, and that's you relatively to the more like we learn about ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes we realize you can realize you have a sweet tooth, but also realize you type 2.
Yeah.
So you like sweets, but you learn yourself well enough to know either in moderation or not at all.
Mm,
Like what you the behavior that goes with that.
yeah.
So so sometimes what we like is not necessarily what's best for us. And the better we learn ourselves and our motivations attached to the things that we have interest in, then sometimes we can understand. Yeah, yeah, I like cheesecake, but I gotta leave it alone.
Yeah. I like that. No, that's good. I like it, man. Because sometimes, I seen a real. Actually, I did a reaction video to it, and this lady was saying the reason why a lot of women struggle with finding, the man is because they're stuck on a type. Like he has to be this certain this height, or whatever, all that stuff. And men will kind of like somewhat settle, and she was saying like that's the difference. So that's why men get to walk away with the woman, but the woman don't get to walk away with the man she want because she's fixated.
I've seen that, what do they call it? Like that 80-20 rule where
Yeah,
men will be happy if they can get 80% of what they want, where women feel like they're settling for the 20% that they don't get,
yep,
and to whatever validity that is. I mean, I'm sure that exists on some level, but
yeah,
you know, you know.
yeah, right. Yeah, because my inboxes be lit up, and I just be thinking like, I mean, there's a lot of great guys out here, but I mean,
So with that, I would challenge somebody to say, what is the okay? So this is your type. We've established whatever that is for an individual.
right.
What is the thing linked to that?
Mm,
So if somebody says, so if it's a woman and she says, I like a manly man, I like a masculine man who could work on a car, who could fix things.
yeah,
Okay, why? Is it because in your like, do you in this day and age, do you really live in a world where you need a handyman? Or is it there is something attached to that behavior that you've reckoned? Maybe your dad used to always fix things around the house, and the reverence you have for him and that dynamic is what you're looking for in a mate. So it's not necessarily his ability to fix a wobbly table, but it's whatever that ability to fix a problem represents to you. So if you can articulate the attachment to the type, that becomes eye-opening for a lot of people because it's like it's not actually that I care if he can take apart a carburetor or not.
Right.
All the cars we've ever owned in my entire lifetime were fuel injected. Like I don't necessarily care about that, but
Right.
his ability to not shoulder shrug with his hands in the air, his ability to take control of a situation, to resolve a problem, to not shift it back to me and well, what we gonna do? And it's just like he can. This is somebody who can say those are the traits I like, and they just happen to manifest themselves in their ability to work with their hands. So when we talk about a type, why is that type? What is those traits? What are they and why are they important to you?
That's good. That will answer a lot of questions. That is good. Yeah, I'm happy to use that. I'll give you a credit. Like I'll use it like 3 times, but then after that is mine's. You
Okay.
know. uh, so when does discernment turn into being too critical, especially in terms of dating?
When does discernment turn into being too critical? I think that probably goes into kind of the last thing, motivation. So the discernment, the ability to kind of maybe weigh out what you're looking at. What are you motivated by when attached to your discernment? Like, are you or is it fear based? Is your ability to be able to recognize what you're dealing with coming from a place of um, I'm afraid of what would happen if I don't, or I'm afraid of what these types of things will bring, or is it discernment is also attached can be attached to abundance and opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. So the ability to just because you got a bouncer at the door doesn't mean the club has to be empty. You can still screen and understand what's in front of you and still make really good choices. So it becomes critical when it's no shoes, no collar shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
We ain't letting eyebrows in tonight. Like when I'm so worried about all the things that could possibly go wrong that I'm using this filtering system to weed out everybody. Oh, you should his shoes was untied. He got to go. I mean,
Mm,
she has split ends, man. She ain't nobody. Like we start looking for the small, just the he only he tipped 15% instead of 16.
mm,
Like just
yeah.
we start looking for these things, this filtering system. Where is it coming from? So motivation and intention. Am I really trying to identify what's happening because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't? Or am I looking to maximize the best opportunities? And so I'm weeding out, not only am I weeding out things that I don't want, but I'm really looking to identify what I do. So it can get to the point to where it becomes super critical when we start getting in the fringes. Like I become so fearful of all the problems that can happen, or everything has to be perfect. When you
Yeah.
get at the fringes, that's when discernment can become overly critical.
Mm. Yeah, that's good because a lot of times, people live in fear. I mean, fear is a great uh, sales tactic, you know,
Yes.
for whatever reason. And because you see that sometimes in dating or people explain themselves and yeah, like you said, I liked him, but he didn't tip this the 16%. Like
Yeah.
that 1% made a difference. But then I'm wondering, like, was the date that bad for you to be that critical?
Yeah. Well, so
Because
sometimes as we get older and we accumulate more and we've been through more, the stakes get higher. So let's say one of the biggest indicators of a man's success is marriage. But one of the biggest factors in financial ruin for a man is divorce. So
mm-hmm.
the best decision you can make is picking the right woman. but the worst decision you can make is picking the wrong one. So
Yeah.
discernment, it does the stakes get higher like as we get older, and it's just like okay, and the same for women. You know, if a woman is saying I'm committing to this person, and if I'm going to bear children, and what position that puts me in, if I pick the right man, I've got the security and the infrastructure, and I'm in a position that we can move forward and thrive and whatnot. But if I pick the wrong one, and now all of a sudden I have children with this person and they turn out to not be as advertised, now where does that put me? So it's maybe I have to take on the kids by myself. Maybe I have to like so the stakes are high when it comes to the mate that we choose. So
Yeah.
discernment is necessary and it's important, but much like the other point I said, it's important to see where's our motivation coming from in the filtering process.
Yeah. Yeah. Because dating with confidence, and this is just my opinion. I think if you do date with confidence that like you're not living in fear, I think you have the ability to choose better,
Yeah,
you know.
I think with most things, when you operate from the space and the mindset of abundance,
Yeah.
you make better decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's always fourth and long, and it's always do or die. You know, if that's the mentality, if it doesn't work with them, I'm just destined to be alone. You know, we can start clinging to things that have long since proven to our detriment because they used to say about women forever, you know, better to have a piece of man than no man at all,
Yeah.
you know, or that type of mentality. It, you know, if you starving long enough, anything looks like a feast.
Yep.
So, but if you operate in a space of if this doesn't work, I can find somebody else. Like I'm qualified, capable. I'm introspective. I'm you know attractive to somebody. I'm engaging and entertain. Like if I believe that on the planet of 8 billion people, I can find somebody. You know, I don't necessarily when I'm making decisions and I'm weighing people out. I can let it go if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, man, and that has to be like the best feeling because because if a relationship doesn't work, people say, "Oh, there's more fish in the sea" and stuff like that, and then people are like, "Yeah, but that was supposed to be my fish," or what I'm saying, that whole thing, that whole scarcity mindset,
Or they'll tell you that the dating pool got urine in it.
Yep.
That there is nothing good out there. You know, go on 2 bad dates and you write the whole gender off, you know? So
Yeah, man, and because I'm starting to believe that's kind of like people are just I think people are saying it just to say it because people been regurgitating it for so long. There's pee in the
yeah,
pool, there's pee in the pool. And like you say, it just could take it could be a mediocre day. Like it doesn't have to be the worst. But
yeah,
then like, oh, there's pee in the pool. And you just like, man. So you coming from that scarcity mindset. So no wonder why there's
yeah.
pee in the pool.
Yeah, and depending upon how old you are, dating is not really promoted or, counseled. Like, we're not in the courting stage anymore. You know, you hear stuff referred to as, like, hookup culture and
Yeah,
that sort of stuff. People if it feels good, do it. Just, people just moving off of impulse and reaction, not with necessarily with a plan.
yeah.
So, you've hung out with somebody 2 or 3 times, but it wasn't there were steps that weren't taken.
Hmm.
You know, you just because you go to class doesn't mean you're necessarily learning anything. You know, it's not just attendance based.
Yeah,
Sometimes we don't learn to ask those quality questions and who we're speaking to. We're not operating with intention, and if we are, we don't convey those to the other person. If we convey them to the other person, we may not ask the right questions to find out what theirs are. Like we'll be real quick to say everything we want, but we don't ever stop and listen to what they're saying they want. And so we'll say, "Well, I said I was this, and I set my goals and my boundaries and my this and this." Yeah, but did you ever ask them what theirs were?
yeah, right.
Like, like this was like yeah, yes, you stated everything that you wanted out of this experience, but didn't ask one question about what they wanted, and then can't figure out why it didn't work. And we'll charge you to the game that that's just how everybody is.
Yeah,
So I think sometimes we didn't learn. some of us I'm of a particular age. I'm back from the hollering era, back where you left the house with a pen and paper, and
Oh
wasn't no cell
yeah.
phone. So you had dating back then was like cold calling telemarketer. You walking up to complete strangers with 15 seconds to make a shake. But the younger people now, some of them have not been taught like how to engage and what to ask for, and what you're trying to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because most people, even when people are dating, they like, what's your Instagram? It's not even your number or anything. It's like, I'll follow you on IG.
Yeah, where do you work? What do you do for a living? How much money do you make? Where do you do the superficial questions, um, which are have their place,
Of course.
but a lot of those important questions in regards to how they if they're are they fear-based people, how are their critical thinking skills. Can you read, like, just some core things that sometimes don't get addressed. Your parents still together? No. How old were you when they split? How'd that affect you?
Yeah.
Now my parents still together, married 50 years. Cool. What is it, man? My parents split up in ninth grade. Okay, man. They were never together.
Yeah.
Those things matter.
Man.
It's not an end all be all, but those are factors.
Yep.
And sometimes we're not asking, and not asking, like I said, without judgment. We're not asking to put a label on if this is a good or bad, right or wrong person. Dating is intel gathering.
Yep.
So a lot of us we're looking for the fun, we're looking for the excitement, we're looking for the experience. And you need to be looking for the information.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I need to figure out, I don't care if you quit your job every year, but why? Oh, because I kept finding new opportunities and I kept getting elevating, and I was in school for this, and then I finished this during this job, and I left that to go with what I was going to school for, oh, okay, that explains why you had a new job every year. But if it was just like, man, my manager came at me sideways, you can't tell me nothing. Oh, that's why you have a new job every year. Like we're intel gathering when we're dating, and some of us are not. We're just in it for the vibes. We're in it for the experience. We're in
Yeah.
it with what name is on the restaurant, or what we pulled up in. And once again, it has its place, but if we're not incorporating the other things, that's where we could find ourselves in patterns of behavior that are not getting us where we want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And for some people, they just so fine. They just skip over anything that they said. Like, they start talking like Charlie Brown teacher. They like, I ain't heard nothing they said. I just know that they fine.
Yeah, because that's what they was there for.
Yep.
And that's fine too. Like I said, it's not judgment. If you are in it for the vibes,
Yeah.
if you in it for the hookup culture, if that's what you're there for,
Yeah.
fine. My only thing is, just personally, I would just convey that to the other person, because that may not be what they're there for. But I
Mm,
do put the onus on the other person to express what they're there for.
yeah. Yeah.
So if one person is saying, I'm dating with intentions to get married and have a family, and the other person is like, I'm just out here,
Yeah.
you both know where each other stands. And if there's a date after that, everybody knows what everybody's doing.
Yes.
So you willing to overlook that they're trying to get married, but you just trying to see how far you can go before you pull ripcord? Or they told you they're not into it serious, and you just trying to hang on how long to see if you think you can convince them?
Mm,
That is not the dating pool having urine in it. That is you getting in your own way.
yeah. Jeez, that's good. Yeah, because so many people, they come with their list, but like you said, they don't talk about what the other person need. It's just like, I just got my list, and
Mhm.
they just talking to them like this with the sheet in front of their face.
Literally in front of the eyes, because it doesn't matter who's sitting across from them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah. I heard a pastor say, when he's doing premarital counseling, and he asked the person, why do they want to get married, and they make it all about them. He's like, nope, we need more sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a difference. Why do you want to get married? Why do you want to be married to them?
Mm,
Because you can want to be married because I want a wife, and I want to have a family, and I want to do that the right way. And I want to have my children in the confines of a family. I don't want to have baby mamas and stuff. I want to be a husband. I want to be like, okay, but why her? Because it sounds like you're just casting. You're just casting for the role of a wife. You casting for the role of a husband. Like you could, as long as they perform to a degree that fits the script, we can plug and play anybody. But if you're telling me you want to marry them, that means I want you even if we have to go off script. I still want you if I find out one of us can't have children. I
Wow.
want you if even if the financials that I would like to have and the dynamic I would have, if that's not possible, I still want you. If for better or worse, cigarette, yes, I want us to still be hiking when we 80 and holding hands and kissing under the oak tree.
Yeah.
But if one of us gets sick or one of us has something where we can't do that anymore, I still want you. So do I want to be married or do I want to be married to you?
We can end the interview right there. That's that is so good because when you start pulling the sheets like that,
Yeah.
pulling the covers off like that, that makes a world of a difference, and it does require a deeper conversation. Because, like you say, it
Yeah.
can be just a wife, but why this person?
That's what they joke about with men. When men are ready to get married, it's almost like musical chairs. It's whoever is standing in front of them when the music stops.
Yeah,
I'm ready to be a husband. I'm ready to get married. You, come on, let's go. Like just that's why I don't need to get 100% of what I want because what I want primarily is the wife and a mother to my children. And if that's what supersedes, that's what's most important,
yeah,
then I'll make that work to the best of my ability.
man, that is so good, so good. Yeah, in the comments they said facts. Yeah, I totally agree, man. Because when we do take the time to ask that question, I think we could put a kind of put a halt on marriages because it's like, wait a minute, now, wait,
Yeah.
you know, and you get the reality of that person then because if they can't explain why they want to be with you,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, because you can make the superficial things of, like I said, I want a mother to my kids, or I want a man that uh, I would like my son to emulate to grow up to be, or the type of man I would like my daughter to come home with, or the type of like I said, the casting. But if it's like, no, I want Reggie because Reggie is, and I want Michelle because Michelle is, and even
yeah,
if that means we don't end up in the big house with the house in the country, if we live in a 1 bedroom apartment and it's just me and her, that's enough.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like this is who I want. This is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. And we'll make it work to the best of our ability for all the days that we have to do it. But I already picked the who. I'll
mhm,
figure out the what and even the how, but I know the who. And some of us we go into these relationships wanting the what, and we didn't really invest in the who.
jeez, so good. Oh my God, this is so good. So, how do you stay present on dates without overanalyzing?
Be where your feet are. You know, if you're on a date with somebody, be on the date with somebody,
Yeah,
not living in, get out the DeLorean. You know what I'm saying? Back to the Future, get out the
yeah,
DeLorean.
future, uh huh,
Quit being in the past of all the things that went or didn't go according to plan before. Get out the future where you're just trying to project all the things that this could mean and this could happen. Just get out the DeLorean, get in the Ford, and just be in the moment. Like I said, you have the converse, be in the conversation you're having.
yeah,
You know, be it like there, you'll see the people we go to restaurants and the food comes. Everybody's got their phone up and they're trying to record the plates and the location and this and that, and they don't even realize the expression on the face of the person they're sitting across from. You done took 50,000 pictures and none of them was of us. You are
everybody,
everywhere but here.
yeah. Everybody know what we ate though.
Yeah. And but your intention was to show this to these people there, or to have this to show later, or to do this to this to this. Meanwhile, there's a whole human being sitting across the table from you, and they're not your focus.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's like be where you are. So if you're trying how to not overanalyze or overthink, if your brain keeps shifting to all your previous dates or past relationships, or jumps to what is everything they do, what can that mean or look like in the future, you're not in the present.
Mhm.
So be present in this conversation, at this dinner, at this walk, at this, you know,
Yeah.
um, It's okay. Be present at the Cheesecake Factory. Be present on a coffee date. Be
Yeah.
present on a walk or a hike. All those places that everybody say they don't go, they don't want to go to no more.
Yeah. Right.
Wherever you are, be present in that space, and that would dramatically help that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So would you say that would that maybe be a form of n- not being able not being ready to date if you're just constantly thinking about previous relationships? What are your
So,
thoughts
so
on
let's keep it a buck.
that?
Some of us don't know how to date.
Yeah. Mm,
So, so maintaining a healthy relationship is a skill, and some of us have just been operating off of talent.
yeah.
So sometimes, like the man one players, you was just born 7 feet tall. You never actually learned how to dribble or chest pass.
Yeah.
You just you could just jump out the gym. You
Yeah.
don't know how to set a pick and roll. You don't know how to set a screen. Like
Mm,
some people are just operating off of talent. And
yeah.
so if you're pretty enough, you'll keep getting at bats.
Yep.
If you're 6'2", tatted up with a muscular build, you're gonna keep getting at bats. Someone's gonna keep giving you a shot.
Yep.
And so sometimes we never actually learn the skill of dating. Like I said, asking the quality questions, operating with intention, operating with a degree of honesty and transparency. Like I said, you ain't got to show all your hand day one, but
Yeah.
moving in that direction.
Mm,
We don't. Some of us don't learn the skill of doing that.
mm,
So
yeah.
we just keep getting. Somebody's going to ask you out because of your measurements.
Yep.
Somebody's asking you out because of where you work. Like there's a whole lot of dudes who get shot just because he could have been smart and got a good job or an opportunity or whatever, and he makes X amount of dollars. Someone's gonna give him a shot because of
Yep.
what he pulls up in.
Yep.
Someone's gonna give her a shot because of what she looks like in them jeans.
Yeah.
But they may not learn the skill of communicating and operating with intention and actually how to date and what you're dating for.
Jeez, that is so good. Yeah, like you say, and no shade, but I mean, if you fit the bill, like you say, you get more at bats just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that self awareness of maybe I need to make some changes for whatever that is, you'll still get the bats, but you'll get the same results. You won't mature. I guess
You
I don't
don't
know.
learn.
You don't learn. Okay. Yeah.
This talent will take you so far. Now, you may never get past this point, but you'll keep getting chances.
Yeah.
And so then that's when it's easy to say, go back to blaming that there's urine in the dating pool,
Yeah.
because 6 feet out from the ladder, that's what's there. You don't know what's 7 feet out because your talent only takes you to 6 feet. So you keep having the same experience because that's as far as you've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
But when you learn, how to swim and you learn different, you can get further out, and then you start getting into depths you've never seen before, and that's when you can start having different experiences.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, that's good because there's a lot of, and we know even in sports, you can be talented, you can get in trouble with the law, all that kind of stuff, get cut, but other people will give you an opportunity just
Yeah,
because of your skill set.
yeah.
You know.
And meanwhile, there's somebody who does not have your talent, but they are insanely skilled, and they actually work at the craft, and they actually work at what they're doing, and they make the most out of every opportunity they get because they're much fewer and far between.
Yeah.
And so that's why sometimes the superficial things that we'll attribute to talent,
Yeah.
um, they keep getting chances. And so, but the person who is like, well, how come he ended up with her? Or why is she with him? And we'll go to the superficial reasons why. Oh, she must let him do A, B, and C, or he must be doing D, E, and F, because
Yeah.
that's the superficial stuff that falls under talent. But we don't realize, no, this person is actually skilled. So they may not have the natural attributes that somebody was born with, but they actually honed in on the skills on how to maintain and keep a healthy relationship.
Wow.
She don't look like her. He don't look like him. He don't make what he makes.
Mhm.
She doesn't wear. She's not the dress size she is. Yeah, but they are skilled at a relationship.
Wow.
Communication, empathy, compassion, support, whether it be protection and provision, whether it be nurturing and consoling, whether it be They learn how to not just be um, just on the team,
Yeah.
like they partner, like a real co-pilot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so some people are skilled in that. They're skilled in partnership.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, because people will judge in a minute. How did he get her?
Or yeah, they'll minimize because the talent thing is how she looks. The
Yeah.
talent thing is how much he makes.
Yeah.
The talent thing is those are the natural born things that we attribute, to talent for the sake of this conversation.
Yeah.
But like I said, but the skill stuff, maybe he's 5'7", but he is funny, he is nurturing, he's compassionate, he's empathetic, he's supportive, he does what he says he's going to do. He's always on time. Like yeah, but okay, but he's 5'7" and he's a little overweight and he's whatever. He didn't get the talent, but he got the skill.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't have the BBL. Maybe she doesn't have the this and that. Maybe when you look at her aesthetically, the talent stuff, yeah, but she is so supportive.
Yeah.
Like when he's with her, he feels like he could fly.
Yeah.
She knows how to say the right encouraging words. She also knows how to be critical and help him see himself and grow and stretch, and knows when to be supportive, knows when to be stern, knows she's skilled at relationship.
Man, that's so good. Oh my God, that's so good. Yeah, because people were, the people, some people were putting in the reps, while other people were just kind of living off their talent.
Yeah.
They decided to stay longer to watch film or whatever that
Yeah.
is. They had
Exactly.
to work.
Yeah. There's people who sit with the pastor. What am I supposed to do? How do I be a good husband? They'll sit with grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, people with 25 years plus in marriage. How do you guys get through that? There was, grandpa lost a job for a while. How'd y'all operate? Man, I heard you cheated on grandma. How you get through that?
Yeah.
I heard you and dad was rocky those first 5 years. How'd you guys recover? Like some people get the skill of a relationship.
Jeez, oh my God, this is so
You
good. This is so good. I got one last question. Uh, can doing the work become a defense instead of growth?
Can doing the work become a defense instead of
Growth.
growth? Um, Yes. So if you, well, let's qualify doing the work. So if you've had some things going on, and so it's say maybe you seek some counseling, therapy, and whatever modality, psychiatrist, psychologist, meditation, personal time, whatever, however you come to it, and you start doing some healing, some introspection, you start learning yourself, become more self-aware, and so now moving forward, can that become a defense? Yes, because you may have learned how to fight to protect yourself, but now you lead with it. Now you learn to fight because there was a bully on the block. So
Yeah.
instead of just saying, "Okay, I learned this, so if the bully presses me, I can defend myself." Now you out here posturing and doing all this extra stuff to kind of fear off of any potential bullies. So it's all those people who lead with their shield.
Yeah.
It was a Spartan 300. Everybody dropped their shield and just, okay, yeah, you got some tools and some defense things to help you, and some growth. You got some boundaries. You learn some the things. You learn some things about yourself. And if you just start leading with that,
Yeah.
you're probably a little less healed than you think you are,
Mm,
because you feel that because it's a reactionary space you're coming from.
yeah.
Um, and you're still motivation. It's still fear based. So there's kind of a contradiction, is it, because if you are healing, you probably wouldn't do those things.
Right. Yeah.
So can it defense hinder growth? You're probably still a little closer to what you used to be than you thought, you know. More and more healed, you're kind of like, I'm not worried about what happened. So it's I know you said last question. So more like preparation versus protection. So healing is rooted in preparation.
Yes.
So regardless of what happens, I'm okay, because like I know what to do if something happens. So I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily worried about if something happens.
Right.
Protection is I'm looking for the bully to kind of figure out how to deal with him.
Yep.
So sometimes if we're like, I got my boundaries because I don't want somebody to hurt me again. I've got my this so in case somebody does that. I'm looking for these clues and these red flags and these and these and these. That's in the protection space. That's coming kind of from the fear-based position.
Yep.
If preparation is I've prepared myself for whatever, like if you know how to fight.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you know how to fight, you're not really worried about if you have to fight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody try you, then I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But I'm
Yep.
not worried about all these things. But if you're still worried about all the things that can happen, that's still kind of coming in a defensive space. And that means there is something you are afraid of. If you're moving from the play, you worried about being played again. You worried about getting your heart broken. You're worried about being taken advantage of. You're worried about your time getting wasted. You're worried about all that stuff is coming from a fear-based position.
Yeah.
So
Gee.
as opposed to I got to worry that I don't get played. It's if I get played, I know that I can handle it. I can adjust and I can move forward.
Yeah.
Yes, I was cheated on before, but I
Yeah.
trust enough in me that I can get over that and I can still trust somebody else again. This experience does not define the rest of my life. You know, can I fight? Yeah. Did I lose a fight? Yeah, but I know I can still fight another day. Like I don't have to be undefeated.
Yep. Yep.
And so when you're not operating from the fear-based space of all the things that can go wrong and the detrimental effects and like the world coming to an end if this thing happens, it's just like, yeah, and if it rains, I get rained on.
Yeah. Right.
If I get fired, I'll find another job. If she leaves me, I'll still love again because I prepared myself for the world that I'm entering in and how I want to live in it.
Man. And that's how you end a segment. I love this. It's so good, man. Yeah, because fear, I think fear is just a topic within itself, man. I mean, we can really dig into that. Um, and I kept hearing it. I'm just like, ah. So I might have to inbox you again one day. I'm like, hey,
Man, I
hey,
love doing it, man. Whatever. We can always get together.
yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule, man. Let everyone know how they can get in touch with you. Let us know what you have going on. I have everything linked in the description.
All the socials are the same as at J Morris CEO, JMorris CEO. I'm a coach and consultant. My practice is based around disc assessment, which is basically I operate in behavior. You can go to mykeystome.com and get information on the assessment and coaching. And I actually just released the book that goes with it. So My Keys to Me: Strategies to uh, Rise and Thrive. It's on Amazon. You can cop that. Uh,
Sure, go
and,
pick it up.
and I'm always around, man. I'm always around.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, thanks again for being a guest, man. This has been a phenomenal show. Everyone, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this with someone you never know who need it. Put this video in your group chat because it's like four of y'all and y'all be talking, and then y'all watch this, and then you gonna talk about it after y'all watch it. And plus, they
Nice,
help me with
nice.
my watch hours. Uh, so this is Sean Hyneman with my special guest. Jermaine Morris. I think I'm pointing to the right way. Uh,
Yeah.
and we are out.